It's two dudes with attitudes, a wrestling podcast with Ryan Enjoys Wrestling and MWO. And this is our AEW edition where we're going to talk all things Collision, Dynamite, and do some highs and lows. Ryan, it was another fantastic week in all of pro wrestling, but also in AEW, a good Collision, a great Dynamite. Are you ready to break this episode down?
I am, man. It was a solid week for AEW, and for the first time in a long time on a Saturday night, they didn't have a PLE to go up against because the Royal Rumble was in the afternoon, and I thought they delivered with a solid episode of Collision.
Two big things happened, so we'll break that down. And you know what? They're thinking outside the box. That Dynamite episode was very risky, and I think it was a risk that was rewarded. But we'll get your opinion too. You ready for that intro music, Ryan?
Yeah, let's go.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and the attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. A 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E. The two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
All right, let's start off with that Collision episode. This is the first time in a while that we usually talk two things Collision. I was trying to figure out what two things we can talk about because it was actually a pretty jam-packed episode. But with that said, let's start off with an announcement match. We have one Orange Cassidy and Toni Storm, who are now dating, I guess. I don't know what they're doing. But anyway, they're in a tag team match when Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir interrupted. And Orange Cassidy made fun of Wheeler Yuta's hair. And Wheeler Yuta wasn't having that shit. You don't make fun of his hair. He looks like Shaggy. And so he said, you know what, homie? Let's have a hair versus hair match. If we're going to break it down, it's not going to be tag team and tag team. Whoever takes the pinfall has to shave their head. So, Ryan, I'm asking you this. Will Toni Storm look hot as a bald girl?
No, but I think Marina Shafir would. Yeah. No, I think Marina Shafir
she'll look good, whatever. Yeah, she'd
look amazing as a bald woman. But I think the question you mean to ask is, what's Wheeler Yuta going to look like with a fresh head of hair?
That's the only person.
He's the only one that's going to get it. Like, they're not going to shave Orange Cassidy's head. That's what makes him Orange Cassidy. And Toni Storm, they're not shaving her head. I could see Marina Shafir and I could see Wheeler Yuta, but it's definitely going to be Wheeler Yuta.
Yeah, and as soon as they said one person, they announced it, I think, on Dynamite. I was like, oh, it's 100% Wheeler Yuta now. But I kind of like it. Like I said, they've been thinking outside of the box and having a mixed tag team match and having a hair versus hair. I thought that was kind of fun.
It's in Australia, which is where Toni Storm's from.
Oh, she's going to be – I hope it's just like Donald Trump and Bobby Lashley shaving Vince's head. I hope it's just like that with Wheeler Yuta like tied down crying, and they're just like shaving him. Are they going to get his beard too? What do you think?
They should. They get it all. Do it all.
It's hair.
She said he's going to look like Moxley. So, Marina Shafir is going to look like Moxley. So,
Moxley, yeah. There ain't no way. There ain't no way Marina Shafir is taking that pinfall. No, not at all. Not a chance.
I'd love to see her, man. I'd love to see her with no hair.
Right. And in a possibly surprise of the night, we had a TNT title championship with your favorite wrestler, Mark Briscoe, facing off against Ciampa. Last week, you told me there's no chance it's going to happen, Denton. They ain't having Ciampa win. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, you did. That. Go back and watch the tapes. You're like, good job, Denton. You don't know what you're talking about. But nonetheless, Ciampa is the TNT champion, and I got to give it to Briscoe. I think he's a joke. I get what happened to him and his family, and I respect him. But in the wrestling room, I think he's a joke. He's the water boy, Scooby-Doo-Bop-Beep. His matches are the same every single time. But this match was actually good. Could have been Ciampa. But not only that, the outcome felt important. You could feel the crowd. It felt like Ciampa beating Briscoe he was winning the world championship. It felt big. It was fun. It was awesome. And then on Dynamite, Ciampa named his belt. It's no longer Goldie. It's Sylvie. And I actually was all for it. I liked it. Sign me up. Ciampa, finally, the AEW has given a WWE guy the right treatment. And like we said, we both thought he was just as big as Adam Cole, baby, because he kind of is resume-wise. And Adam Cole had a huge introduction. Now Ciampa has too. So I'm looking forward to him having a phenomenal, even that promo he cut, he threw the chair again, fantastic stuff. I love it. I'm so glad Ciampa's back, baby. Favorite NXT of all time.
Me too. And I think he fits right in with AEW. I think he fits the mold perfectly. And I think he needs to have a long, dominant run with this TNT title. I was worried there at the end of the match when Kyle Fletcher came out and he was clapping. I was like, oh, Lord, they're going right into this. And, I don't have I have no doubt that match is going to be off the chains. That match is going to be amazing, but I think it's way too soon for that. I think he needs to continue doing these TNT Open challenges. He's wrestling Roderick Strong on Collision and Claudio Castagnoli in a triple threat this coming Saturday. I think he needs to do more of those and then get into feuding with like the likes of Kyle Fletcher and the Don Callis family. But because the Don Callis family is chomping at the bit to take over this whole Ciampa thing as well. So I want to kind of keep them separate from each other for a little bit. But other than that, there's a fantastic way for him to win the TNT title on Collision.
You got to keep them separated. That's a league reference, ladies and gentlemen. So you never seen the league. That's a Crawdad man.
League's great.
Separated. Got to keep them. All right. That's our Collision. Once again, a phenomenal episode of Collision. Let's get into Dynamite because Dynamite was actually better. Don't let the ratings fool you, ladies and gentlemen. Dynamite has been cooking. They're thinking outside the box. And you know what? I'm just going to start it off hot, homie. Let's start it off hot. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. The main event, Brody King versus MJF. Brody King had to defeat MJF to get a title shot at Grand Slam Australia. And Brody King not only defeated MJF, he squashed his ass. He choked him out like Gunther did Dragon Lee, threw his ass in the ring, put him in his finisher.
Just like Gunther did Dragon Lee.
Just like Gunther did. 1, 2, 3, match is over. Brody King. And then everyone kind of woke up. Hangman came out. People were coming out. Andrade came out. They're all trying to get involved. And Brody King laid everybody out and stood tall, holding up the belt. Ryan, I'll get your opinion. You probably already heard mine if you watched my TikToks. What do you think of this match? And what do you think about this huge, huge shocker of a moment? Not only defeat, second guy to ever squash MJF, homie. Wardlow and Brody King.
I loved it, man. I thought this is exactly the Brody King that we needed to see. If he's going to be a credible threat for the world title moving forward, then this is the kind of guy that we need to get. Not the guy that comes out and barks all the time and then loses to the likes of Darby Allin in a coffin match. I think he needs to this is the kind of match that he should be dominating and he should be winning. And I thought it was a risk. It was a risk because you're making your champion look weak. You're making your champion look losing in 60 seconds. That's not a good look. But I think it was a risk worth taking because I think the payoff at Grand Slam is going to be huge. I think MJF is going to get the win. It's going to be a great match. And they're telling a story. I like everything that they're doing with this. I have no problem with it. And the world title with Hangman Page chasing after him and Andrade coming after him, it feels more important than ever. And I'm liking what they're doing for sure.
And let's get into that because you said it made him look weak, but in a sense, that's a good thing because Brody King, no matter how big he is and how badass he is, he's not put like that on television booking wise. And so he kind of felt out of place. Like, why are you getting a title shot? MJF has an out. He got distracted by Hangman, and then he was put to sleep. So that's a double out. He was just caught off guard, and that's why he got pinned so quickly. But it makes you wonder if Brody King can win the match, which he's not, but it makes you wonder. MJF's going to have to overcome that. It was all just great television. And let's talk about the elephant in the room, because before they started the match, the entire AEW arena chanted F-Ice over and over and over again, so much so that MJF looked into the camera and was like, brr? As a heel, was headlines. Okay, that was phenomenal. Those are the kind of things that make me not want to watch WWE and go to AEW, if you know what I mean. But there was other things that happened on this card. And like you said earlier, we had one Andrade wrestling Kenny Omega, and he defeated Kenny Omega. You and I both, for once, you were right again, because you were wrong about that whole Ciampa thing. But we got Andrade was going to win. He beat Kenny Omega. The writing was on the wall. What say you about this? Are you excited about the Andrade hype all of a sudden? Is it deserved? Or is it just my theory that it's because he's coming to the City of Angels? The Latinos out there are huge, and it's going to be nice to see maybe Andrade versus an MJF because it'll get butts and seats and get the crowd super hyped for that.
I don't know, man. I don't know if that's the direction they're going. I think with Hangman Page and Swerve and Andrade and Brody King all involved in the title picture, and MJF,
well, now there's only two. It's only Hangman and Andrade now. Yeah.
Yes, but I think somehow, some way, it's going to lead to some sort of like six man or one, the 6-pack challenge or whatever they call it at Revolution, where it's MJF versus Kenny Omega versus Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland versus Brody King versus Andrade. I feel like that's the only way that they can get out of this. But the Andrade thing, I feel like we talked about Roman Reigns and CM Punk in our last WWE episode and how that feud kind of feels a little bit forced. I feel like Andrade feels a little bit forced on us right now. He kind of came up out of nowhere, and all of a sudden I'm supposed to care about Andrade. But I will say he's doing some things right. Like he's getting into this character, the ladies' man character. He's getting into it. He's leaning into it. He's cheating to win matches. He's he's put the streaks in his hair like he's Seth Rollins. He's done a lot of he's really leaning into this gimmick, whatever it is, and he's growing on me a little bit. But I still feel like this thing is a little bit forced. This whole rise of Andrade. I didn't care about him 3 months ago when he came back to AEW. I didn't care about him when he disappeared from AEW. But now all of a sudden I'm supposed to care about him. I don't know. Like, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, but that's why I think it is forced, but I think it's forced for a good reason, right? Number one, like I said, I do think he's going to headline Revolution with MJF. I do think they want, as a Latino myself, that's what we want. That's California, baby. We are especially LA, Southern California, man. That's all about the Latinos and the heritage and the, everything about it. I think him being there will help. But not only that, I think it's the investment Tony Khan made. He went through a lot of trouble to get Andrade. They signed him. Then supposedly WWE had an issue. He had to leave for a while. They had to fight to get him back. It's a huge thing. Why bring him back and have him be a jobber? So I feel like that put more pressure on him too, especially all the noise of he's a cancer. He can't do anything. He's not good. People like me saying he's the same person ever. What does he bring? He's just a wrestler, and they're showing that maybe he can be something. So I think that's kind of why they're forcing it on us to kind of prove the point of, hey, we went through all this work for a reason. This guy is talented. Watch him work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But with that said, after this match, we did get a little beef. Kenny Omega and Swerve Strickland were recently kissing, hugging, about to have a baby together, and then all of a sudden Kenny Omega loses, and now they're beefing. They ended off that match when Andrade defeated Kenny Omega, with Kenny Omega and Swerve Strickland having to be separated. And so we getting Kenny Omega versus Swerve. You're saying a 6-man tag. What about Kenny Omega versus Swerve Strickland? Because homie, sign me up. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm all for it too. With the way Swerve Strickland's been booked lately, this is exactly what he needed. If he's not going to be in the world title picture, he needs a match against Kenny Omega. I think Kenny Omega is the perfect opponent for him. It's a great way to get Kenny back, kind of seeing if he can really go on the single side. Because I know he's been really kind of in the trios division with the Young Bucks there for a little bit. Lately, he's kind of stepped out and gotten back into singles matches, but Swerve's going to be the real test for him to see if he can actually do this. And I'm super excited. I think this is exactly what both men need. And it could be a really good feud that could lead to great things in the future for both, but also maybe a potential story. Because again, one of my New Year's resolutions for AEW was I want rivalries in AEW. I want things that we can sink our teeth into. And when we look back on AEW in 10 years from now, I want to be able to I'm not going to remember Swerve Strickland versus Kenny Omega's random match at Grand Slam Australia, but I might remember Kenny Omega versus Swerve Strickland's rivalry, Swerve Strickland and Kenny Omega's feud that catapulted AEW in 2026, similar to what Hangman Page and Swerve did a couple years ago. I think that's what AEW needs, and these two are the perfect men to do it. So sign me up.
I mean, we might get that too, and I think this is a perfect build and well done because they both lost to Andrade. They both want title matches. So when you both lose, How do you get back in it? By beating the other guy to earn your way back up. So I do like that, and I'm super stoked about it. I mean, Source Stricken can wrestle anyone and wrestle their style. This is going to be an absolute banger. I hate to end this on a sour note, at least in my opinion, but we had a weird going on Dynamite this week, and that was when the War Dogs, led by Gabe Kidd, decided to jump Darby Allin as he was skateboarding to the arena. I don't know if the AEW truly wants me to believe that a grown-ass man who wrestles for AEW is skateboarding to the arena, doesn't take a car or any type of transportation, but nonetheless.
No helmet either? Yeah.
No, just skateboarding down. He needs a helmet. Dude got hit by a bus and wrestled the next day.
I know, but I'm just like,
yeah. Oh, show it to the kids. Yeah. But anyway, so he gets beat up, and then later on in the episode, the War Dogs are beating up like the TV production team out of flipping nowhere. Like I said, this episode was a very risky episode. Some hits, most hits, one miss in my opinion. So they tap him out to like show the video, and basically it's the War Dogs driving down a dirt road, and then they show a camera, and it's like something being dragged. They zoom in on it, and it's obviously Darby Allin inside of not a coffin, a body bag. They zip it up. He's in there. They zip it back up, cut the rope, and drive off and leave him in the middle of nowhere. Like I said, you got to take risks, right? But in my opinion, number one, this is a bad risk because what are we doing here? Who gives a shit? Secondly, Darby Allin. Do you remember Darby Allin? Beat Jon Moxley. First guy to beat Jon Moxley. Yep. Ended his whole Death Riders, everything. Ended it all. Climbed Mount Everest. What is he doing? Title shot? Headlining?
No.
Main event in matches? No. He's wrestling against the War Dogs.
Not even wrestling on the show. Yeah.
No, he's wrestling Gabe Kidd, who's literally not even a part of the Death Riders. He's just like a crony in it, and he's taking out Darby Allin. What are we doing here, Tony Khan? Like I said, all hits. Episode was perfect until this. This made zero sense. Wasted Darby Allin.
All gas, no brakes, like Jacob Fatu. But this one was a big time emergency break. This was an awful. I didn't like this at all. This didn't fit the theme of the show. This didn't fit the way the show was going. It just felt. We talk about randomness. This felt completely random and out of the blue. Where did this feud come from? And I don't understand what they're doing. Like, what's the end game here? Is this you're gonna have this guy get tortured and put in a body bag and all this stuff just to lead to a wrestling match at a pay-per-view? Like, I don't know. This is
no one cares about. It'll be on 0 hour.
They're gonna release him and be like, okay, I'll see you in the ring, but you're released. I'll see you then. Like, no, that's like stupid.
Yeah,
this whole thing is dumb. And Darby Allin is how the mighty have fallen in AEW for sure.
Yeah, he had nothing else to do. Like, this guy should be the champion or in the championship match or any. They have 75 titles. Why does Ricochet have a championship? Like, we can do so much more. But anyway, that's our Dynamite review. Like I said, phenomenal episode. Sorry, everyone. We ended it on a bad note. I just thought it was stupid. But we had to talk about it because it's so far out there. And now it's time to get into our segment. Ryan, let the people know what that segment is. Hit that music.
Highs and lows, let's go. This is highs and lows. It's time for the list. Who's killing it and who should probably go and sit? You're the best getting listed up high as hell. It's for the lows. They can come up here and take a L. Yes, they got their fingers on the button, yeah. Never sweat the mid, just the best and who run it. I'ma let them chill, let them run through the list of names. This is highs and lows. Go ahead and do your thing.
I'm not gonna lie, that crow hits. I don't know how Homeboy thought they had a crow in there, and it fit perfectly with Darby and Sting and everything. That crow just so badass. Anyway, awesome. Highs and lows, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna give 2 highs, 2 lows, each of what we think of this week of AEW. Ryan, what is your first low of the week?
My first low is the usage of double champions in AEW. So what I mean by this is, like, Willow Nightingale, for example. She beat Mercedes Moné to win the TBS title on the last episode of Dynamite of 2025. But what has she done with that TBS title since? Nothing. Why? Because she's also one half of the women's tag team champions, which well deserved. Not dogging that decision as part of the Babes of Wrath, but she's too focused on the women's tag team division in the women's tag team titles that nothing is happening with the TBS championship. So that's another title that's just being completely wasted, just like it was wasted when Mercedes Moné had it, as well as all those other belts that she had in AEW. And now I'm, kind of sort of looking at Hangman Page, right? Hangman Page won the trios championships with Jet Speed, but yet we haven't seen them in a match since then. We haven't seen them we really haven't seen them on screen together very much at all. They haven't cut like a promo together or anything. It's just been Hangman Page going after the world title while holding the trios title. And I don't know. I just don't like the way AEW, I feel like they go all in on one direction and they forget that they have other belts that they need to be defending. So I don't really like how they do the double champions in AEW. I don't like that, Willow Nightingale, give her all the titles. I love Willow Nightingale. I'm not knocking her at all. I just wish that she was competing in the tag division and defending her TBS title pretty regularly, because I think the TBS title is completely being wasted. Same thing with the trios while Adam Page is focusing on the world title. It just, I love them having titles. I'm not knocking their championship reigns. I just think the way they're being used is a waste. Yeah,
first time in pro wrestling history where they're not talking about the singles title and actually putting more work into the tag team title. You're so right. Wonderful. Willow too, because she beat the greatest champion of all time and won Mercedes Moné, right? And now we're doing nothing with it. So it's like, I said when she won it, she shouldn't have won it for that reason. Don't have her win the tag team title. She's going to win that TBS championship. Makes no sense. But what can you do, right? What can you do? It is what it is. All right, my first one, I'm just going to go right into it. Darby Allin, he's my low of the week. That man is a forgotten boy. He got straight up beat up on a skateboard, thrown into the thing like he's Rey Mysterio into the production truck, got thrown into a trunk, then got dragged across the desert, only to be left there. I don't know where he is. Where did they record? Where was this episode at? I don't know what desert.
Las Vegas. Yeah.
Oh, it was Las Vegas. Oh, well, then he's dead.
Yeah.
So have fun, Darby Allin.
Yeah.
Wipe yourself off. You did. So
wipe yourself off. You're bleeding.
But anyway, that dude is, so I don't know. It's just so low for the fact that he should be booked better. The guy claimed Everest, beat Jon Moxley. First dude to beat him, ended Jon Moxley. And what do they do? It's just really, really, really weird booking. So what can you do? I don't know. But that's my first low of the week. Do better, Tony.
Yeah, it's a good low, man. Yeah, because he should be in the world title picture right now with everybody else. And he's being wasted on pre-show stuff or off-screen stuff with Gabe Kidd and those guys. Yeah, I don't like what they're doing with him at all.
No, me neither. All right, what's your second low of the week?
I think we say this every week, but I'm gonna say it again. But the Don Callis family, they have way too many people. And to be honest with you, I really don't give a shit about 95% of them. Don Callis even joked at the beginning of Dynamite that it's AEW Dynamite featuring the Don Callis family because they're in every single segment on the show. It felt like they were in almost every single segment on AEW Dynamite, from the opening segment to the stuff with and Collision to the stuff with the Death Riders, to the stuff with Andrade at the end and all the stuff sprinkled throughout. We got too much of it. I like that they're telling stories. I like that they're that we're getting feuds and stuff out of it. And I like the wrestlers that are in the Don Callis family, but I want them to kind of pivot away from this family. We don't need every single segment featuring the Don Callis family, and they have way too many people.
Pivot. Here's my thing. You ready? My other low, Don Callis family. So don't even got to talk about it anymore. You did it. You covered it. I'm just so and I'm just tired of him. You make something stale by shoving it down our throats every second. Once again, Tony Khan, the NWO. Look them up, Tony Khan. I know you watch them. Watch it. Watch the NWO again and tell me why they didn't end up working out. You're doing it with Don Callis right now. You're ruining the people in Don Callis as well. And I'm going to talk about that later.
I will say, if we do get MJF versus Andrade at Revolution. I am excited about Don Callis cutting promos with MJF. I think that'll be fun.
Okay.
But
yeah,
we don't need him in 15 different segments with randos like Orange Cassidy and everybody else throughout the Mark Briscoe. Like but focus on the big stuff. Don't focus on everything.
Well, all 20 of his guys will be on the card, so get ready. All right, what's your first high of the week, Ryan?
Contrary to popular belief, I did not say that Tommaso Ciampa should not have won the TNT title.
Who spread
so
that?
my first high of the week is Tommaso Ciampa. This might be a little bit early, but he's already been booked better than his time on the WWE main roster in his short time in the AEW. I love what they're doing with him. He's off to a hot start in AEW. He's the TNT champion. I want him to have a long, lengthy reign with this TNT title. Bring some credibility back to that title. Bring some relevance back to it. Let him just dominate everybody. Let him keep having these open challenges where we get to see how amazing he is. Keep showing him doing promos backstage and interviews and give him a character. Give us something to believe in. But I love what they're doing with Tommaso Ciampa so far. He's been booked way better in just the 2 weeks that he's been there than his entire time on the WWE main roster with DIY and the stuff he did with The Miz and the stuff with R-Truth. Like, he's way better in AEW, and I think he fits there a lot better than he did in WWE.
Well said. My first one is actually Ciampa, but Ciampa and Fletcher. You said it was too soon.
Yeah.
I'm all for it, brother. I'm not the hugest Kyle Fletcher fan, but if someone's going to get Kyle Fletcher going, it is one Tommaso Ciampa. I think that match is going to be phenomenal, and I think Ciampa needs to put him to sleep. I love that he called him Sylvie. I think it's fantastic. He's going to have that belt thing going on again. It just reminded me of the black and gold where he was the absolute best. I'm all for it. So to me, that's a high. Having him stare him down. Remember, AEW will do a stare down and not have it happen for 8 months. So it doesn't mean it has to happen right away, but it means we're planting the seeds. As Ciampa defeats everybody, we'll get there. You know what I mean? So I'm all for it. And Ciampa's just, it's so nice to see him shine. I'm so happy. So happy.
Yeah. I am too. I love Ciampa. Yeah. He's doing fantastic.
All right. What's your other high? Last one of the night. Let's hear it.
I'm going with just the overall world title picture in AEW. I think this belt feels like the most important title in AEW for the first time in a long time, and that's the way that it should be. There were times where, especially when MJF was champion the first time around, he was kind of looked like when he turned babyface, he was doing the stuff with the brochachos and stuff, which was great. It was funny, but he wasn't taken seriously. And now you have guys like Swerve Strickland going for the title, and Hangman Adam Page going for the title. Andrade's going for the title. Kenny Omega, Brody King, and they're all wanting to get what MJF has. I think it's incredible stuff that they're doing with the world title stuff. I think they're building stories, they're building feuds, they're building matches because of everybody wants the world title. They're all gunning for the top prize, which is exactly what they should be doing. So the world title picture in AEW feels like the most important belt in the company, and I'm happy to see it, and I'm here for it. So the world title picture is my other high.
I swear, everybody, we do not plan this and talk beforehand ever about
really
these type of things. Yeah. And my last high is the world title picture. Just like you said, it's the most important it's ever felt. And with Hangman, with Swerve, adding in Andrade, like you said, Kenny Omega, we still supposedly have Samoa Joe. Wasn't he supposed to be in this? Whatever happened to him?
Yeah, I think he's hurt or something. Yeah.
Did he leave with Powerhouse Hobbs? I don't know. But it's just there's a lot of people. It feels right. MJF, Brody King, brother, this is going to get nasty, and I'm all for it. So yeah, the world title picture for sure is my last high as well. That just means things are going good and bad in the right way, because we both agree. All right.
Yeah.
That was our highs and lows, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into our last segment, our weekly segment, our LBD and MVD of the week. I know this is what you all look forward to, and all the pro wrestlers who listen to our podcast are hoping they don't make the L. But remember, it's not
you just made the list.
Fault. You just made the list, and it's Tony Khan's fault because he booked you this way. So it is not that we hate or love you. It's that you were the worst or best booked. Ryan, who is your LVD of the week?
I'm going with Darby Allin. I think,
well said.
With everything that, like, this guy skateboarded into the arena, didn't even make it to the arena because he got taken out by Gabe Kidd. We've talked about this ad nauseum. We don't need to talk about it anymore. But like we said earlier, this guy he beat Moxley, he beat Pac, he was single-handedly, supposedly, or so we thought, destroyed the Death Riders, even though they're still teaming up.
Mm-hmm.
But he climbed Mount Everest. This guy was rumored to be the one to dethrone Jon Moxley and become the AEW World Champion. And he should be in the world title picture right now with Swerve and Hangman and MJF and Andrade and Brody King. He should be in there with them with Samoa Joe. But instead, he's not even getting into matches on TV. He's fighting with Gabe Kidd in a match that a feud I don't really care about. He's getting tortured, and it's going to lead to a fight at Revolution or Grand Slam or whenever they're going to do it. I don't care. And it just shows how much Darby Allin has kind of fallen off since he's returned to AEW. I still love the guy. I think he's great. I think he's perfect for what AEW does. But this feud with Gabe Kidd, I really could not care any less about it than I do. And that's why Darby Allin's my LVD of the week.
Well said. I didn't pick him because he was on my lows. So I picked a different LVD. And I'm going to shock you. And it is one Okada. Okada was on Collision this week. He wrestled a man named Adam Priest. Adam Priest. So he's a mix of Damian Priest and Adam Pearce.
And Adam Pearce, yeah.
Yes, have you ever heard of him before? No. So what does Okada do? He's going to run through this guy, right? Smash him? No. He had an 11-minute match where he struggled to defeat this guy, had near falls happen, and barely was able to get a Rainmaker in to defeat Adam Priest. You're telling me right now that you have your current champion, probably your most dominant pro wrestler in AEW on your roster for the past how long? He is the man. If you take out MJF, he is the face. And a Moxley, he's the face that runs the place. Okada is him. And he's struggling to beat Adam Priest? Yeah, dude, that's an L for me. AEW does that too much, where they give a guy who doesn't deserve it too much shine. This is Collision, ladies and gentlemen. Okada needed a mop. You're going to have Okada wrestle this guy, let him beat him in 3 seconds and move on to what he's doing. Doesn't need to have an 11-minute match with this guy. So that's my LVD of the week. Even in a win, it was just embarrassing in my opinion.
They did the same thing with Toni Storm and Orange Cassidy too. Like they wrestled two random jobbers, and the jobbers got some offense in. And I was like, this should have been like a squash match. It was not like MJF Brody King squash like we all thought it should have been. But yeah, I completely agree. Okada should have ran through that guy. Especially somebody that we've never heard of.
Are you talking about Gino Medina and Lady Bird Monroe?
Yeah, I guess.
From Collision. Yeah, that's who they beat. Yeah.
So. And then on Dynamite too, they beat two random randos.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of squashy at least. They barely was like, I don't remember. I don't know why they wrestled two randos to begin with. There's not a mixed tag division. All right, let's end it on a high note. I'm assuming we're gonna have the same MVD of the week, but maybe not.
It's Don Callis. No, I'm just kidding. It's Brody King is my MVD of the week. This man. Yep. Last week we were kind of wondering, like, what has this guy done to get a title shot? What has he done to earn this? This feels completely random because all he has to do is beat MJF and he gets a title match when Hangman Page and Swerve have to like kill each other to get a title shot, and Kenny Omega and Andrade have to be in a tournament. This doesn't seem fair. Well, this week he proved why he's in the world title picture and why he deserves a world title match, and it's just goes to show what a difference a week can make, because I don't think we believed in him last week, and now I believe in him, and I think he belongs, and I think he proved himself this week by squashing the world champion in less than a minute. It was a great way to end Dynamite, and I'm excited about the match next week.
He's also my kind of guy, man. The only liberal Nazi in the entire world. I love him. I love me some Brody King. I love the shirts he wears, what he stands up for, and he even got the crowd chanting FIs. I'm all for Brody King. And yeah, he showed out. And I think now, even though we know he's going to lose, it's going to be a worthwhile match. And I think people will somewhat think he might get the W. So yeah, but Brody King definitely has to be the MVD. When you choke out and beat the world champion in 27 seconds, you deserve to be the MVD of the week. You know what I mean? All right.
No, it was a great week for Brody.
Yeah. It was a great week for AEW. So there you go. AEW Weekend Review, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love our AEW fans. We love AEW, so thank you for listening. Hit those comments up, people. We need to interact. Help us out. You're watching it. You're liking it. Now interact with it. As always, if you just want to check me out, I'm at my_wrestling_opinion on all social media. And with me, as always, is...
Ryan enjoys wrestling on all the social media platforms, so go follow me there. We are on X at 2DudesPC. We're on Twitch at 2Dudes_with_attitudes, Instagram at 2Dudes with Attitudes podcast, and TikTok at 2Dudes with Attitudes. So go follow us all over there. And then we're also on YouTube at 2Dudes with Attitudes, where you can drop some comments. You agree with our highs and lows. You agree with our takes about AEW and everything going on, how great it's been in 2026. Drop the comments below. Let us know what you think. And then we're also on all the audio formats as well. Spotify, Apple, anywhere you get your audio podcast. We are in the top 10% of all listened to wrestling podcasts, but we're not done yet. We want to keep climbing up the ranks and get into that top 5% and that top 1%. And the way to do that is to drop 5-star ratings and reviews, listen to us, download us, subscribe. But the ratings and reviews really help. That gets us going. But go out there and tell everyone about your favorite two dudes on the internet. Tell everyone why we are the best wrestling podcast out there. So appreciate everyone's love and support. It's going to be our year. 2026 is the year of the dudes, man.
Two Dudes Wolfpack. We out.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and our attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. A 5-star broadcast, shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all elite, the two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on time to lie.